Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live. Talk radio without the static. Email your questions and comments to lynncullenshow@gmail.com. And now your host, Lynn Cullen.
And good morning to you. Admittedly, I'm going to be your more subdued host today for reasons which I will explain momentarily. But it is a Tuesday, and that means Susan is joining us. So, hi, Susan.
Hi, what's going on?
Well, we had a rough 24 hours in my household because Blue hurt his paw. And yeah, we spent yesterday afternoon in the emergency vet, which is no fun.
Oh no, I've been there for days myself, right?
Oh,
okay.
God. I'm so sick of emergency rooms, human and dog. I can't see straight, but right now what's breaking my heart is he's sitting at the front door, his back to me, and head down.
Waiting for his walker, and he can't go.
And she's not coming. Yeah, because he can't go. And it's
what
such
happened
a
to his paw? Excuse us, we need to find these things out. Blue is a very important family
it's unknown.
member.
It's unknown what happened, but the result was a nail. A nail was like mostly ripped
off. Ugh.
Yeah, it was awful, and it was very bloody, and he was in such pain. And of course, you can't get in to see your vet, because it wasn't life-threatening or something, and they're busy. And so I had to go to and these emergency vets, this is a new one. I want to tell people, this one is the first one, at least it's near my house, which was great. Used to have to schlep out to the North Hills. It is clearly a corporatized, there's got to be these things all over the country. And it's impressively organized. You actually see everything they're doing. They do their work like out in this open space. It's bizarre. I mean, I'm sure there's like OR kinds of things out of it. I watched them work on a lot of dogs and cats, and with all the drama and the concerned adult parents and tears and a snake came in.
Yeah, I've always found the emergency vet waiting rooms almost more difficult to handle than the human ones.
Yeah.
The people are more concerned about their pets than they are about their children or their parents, and the pets are all terrified.
I know.
It's just, but that makes good psychological sense to me that they're letting you see everything, because you're waiting forever, and they need you to see that. Yeah, they're all working.
Yes. Yeah, they are. They're all working. You see that, and you know that your dog is not.
They'll get to you when you can. Yeah,
it is not in danger of dying. But it's. And then when they finally get to you, and then I got the bill. Oh my God! This is why corporate America's in this stuff. Wow, it wasn't a lot.
You haven't bought your pet insurance yet?
No, I haven't, because that's crapola too, and he's too old now. Anyway, it just doesn't. I mean, the bill. What do people do who don't? I mean, it was almost $800.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a big deal that they did. They gave him some, numbing stuff, and then gave him a little lidocaine, and then they, God, it was awful. He struggled. It was painful, and then they wrapped it up and gave me some pills and put that horrible collar on him and sent us on our way. I mean, $800, but they've got it's a big operation, and for the people I see there that clearly had animals in real distress, I mean, you're looking at thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yep.
Wow. And they had I guess he's given up. He's now going to bark. Um, ah,
Well, at least he's feeling better. I love you, Blue.
yeah, he is. He's all worked up now. Okay, guys, sorry, but I had to explain. And I am so wiped out emotionally from this, because I'm a wimp. Oh, there's that. Okay. And then, there's the times we live in, God help us. So, do you see what the Pope said? In his first, I guess he was meeting with members of the media for the first time.
Yeah, he was saying he was hailing journalists and calling on them to do their job.
Yeah, but really, what he was doing also is, I think, to me, this is like throwing shade at Trump, because
Oh, of course.
it so applies. I mean, listen, here's the quote that I thought, well, who might he be talking about here? The Pope said, "Let us disarm communication of all prejudice and resentment, fanaticism, and even hatred. Let us free it from aggression." And I'm thinking, well, that'd shut up the President of the United States. He wouldn't be able to speak. And then he said, "We do not need loud, forceful communication, but rather communication that is capable of listening." Oh, Pope Leo, right? Yeah, Pope Leo.
Yeah.
Honest to Pete. Yeah. So how long before Trump just starts going after this Pope? I wonder how long it'll be. I mean, he's already mocked the position he holds by,
Dressing himself as such,
yeah,
yes.
yeah. So yeah, it's going to be interesting anyway.
Right. Well, I mean, I think that this Pope will embrace that part of his job with intensity. I think he feels very strongly about this, and
Yeah,
I think the church does too. And as I said to you privately, I think it's the one good thing that a Trump presidency has given us is the ability to have this Pope who, because the United States is so dramatically diminished, does not represent overwhelming unification of American power between the church and America or the United States anymore.
no,
And so
quite
they
the
could
opposite.
have this really good guy, which, I mean, that's why there was always the assumption there couldn't be an American, a Pope from the United States. It was that it would have the appearance of too much power.
Yeah,
And the so what's changed? One asks. Only one thing.
yep.
And that was my favorite thing about his election. If the first thing it was a condemnation of Trump.
Yeah, as has almost every piece of news coming out of the world, is the election in Australia, the election in Canada, the fact that I was reading today that France and Germany are, or I think France and the UK are, or Germany, I can't even remember now, are talking about, a defensive pact, knowing that NATO is dead because of us. I mean, it's just, you see the rest of the world moving on without us, is what's
Right.
happening.
Yeah,
And
isolationism isn't all it's cracked up to be.
yeah, yeah. Oh gosh, he was back at the door looking. Oh God,
Oh, jeez.
I can't.
Just so you know, the person in the scenario that needs a Xanax is the owner.
Yeah, actually, I've been giving him this pill, and I'm thinking of stealing one of them because it's blue. No, it's gabapentin, and
I have no idea what that
well,
is.
I think it's a painkiller, but it's also for anxiety.
Oh.
it's sort of a
Go for it,
wonder.
Lynn. Go
Yeah,
for
it's
it.
exactly. It's sort of a wonder drug, and he's got a lot. They gave him a lot. I paid for a lot, so I was thinking. And I also, of course, he left in one of those horrible, lampshades.
Yeah, you can get him a better one.
No, I took it off. I can't bear it. He was bumping into everything. He was so miserable. I took
Ernie
it.
wouldn't ever even walk. He would just stand
No,
there and look at me.
I know.
And then
So,
every once in a while he would back up. I mean, I could never put him in one either. He couldn't do it.
no, so I took it off. It's been off, but I'm
Again,
thinking,
to be clear, the dogs could have been just fine. The owners couldn't do it.
well, they've wrapped this so much that even if he's licking at it, he's not licking the actual wound. I
No,
don't
he'll
know.
get the he'll get the bandage off. You better watch him real
I
closely.
am watching. That's why I just said no. But now he's hidden behind a chair, so he's out of my line of vision.
Exactly.
Wait.
I hope you guys are going to like this show today, because what we're going to be talking about is where Blue is.
Okay, no, I'll get up every once in a while and look. He's okay. All right, I'll stop. I'll try to stop. Friggin' wreck. Okay. So, speaking of our diminished state.
How was your Mother's Day?
It was very nice, thank you.
That's nice.
My son and his girlfriend took me to a downtown jazz club. And
Cool.
I know it's so not like me to do anything like that. And this wonderful woman, Etta Cox, was singing, who I've known throughout the years, and she's just fantastic. And so it was wonderful. And they also took his girlfriend's mother, so it was us two moms and them. And
Oh.
and she tried to give her daughter some money when she saw how much the stuff cost. And her daughter said, "Mom, no." And I said to her mom, "No, you gotta let them do this. However painful it is for us knowing that they don't have the money." So it was very nice. All right.
Yeah, well, that's very nice.
Yes.
I'm pleased to hear it.
Yeah. Okay, enough. So here's what I wanted to say. Everything this idiot doesn't work. I mean, one thing after the other. So China called his bluff, and now look, their tariffs have pretty much gone back to where they were.
No, and he's going to claim a big victory because the market bounced back a little bit yesterday, and it's only because he stopped doing what he had been doing.
Yeah, but
but
it's just a pause. So the fact is entrepreneurs will still be saying, well, we don't know what he's going to do next. We can't. So he continues to just absolutely disrupt the economy. But it shows how that, his game, the game he plays, is so obvious now to anybody.
Everybody.
Everybody.
Well,
The threat, the bluster,
half of our policy is Trump fever dreams.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's just him. I saw somebody pointed out today that what he's doing. What he's doing is rather than playing the boss that he played on The Apprentice, he's now playing the president, but dealing with it exactly as he did. He's just changed the desk. Now it's a bigger desk.
And it's got gilt on it.
Mm-hmm. God Almighty!
It looks like the Tsarist palace.
No, but the czars, even with all their guilt, had a measure of taste.
They had incredible taste.
It's just grotesque.
Trump's is just grotesquerie, right?
It's just grotesque, absolute grotesque.
It's what old money, when they saw things like that, used to sniff and say,
"New money." It's grotesque. Every time I see a picture of any, oh, I mean, all these pictures where he's lined up, I mean, where he's sitting in those two chairs with some poor head of state, and
always like he's sitting on the toilet.
always
His knees
like he's
are right.
right.
Yeah. He's leaning forward, knees apart.
I know. I hate it because you do. You always imagine him on the toilet. And then behind him is this lineup on a mantle that used to, by the way, have ivy. I mean, beautiful living greenery. Is one hideous gold thing after another. Oh, God. It is just sickening. Anyway, so yeah, he's playing the president of the United States. It's all a show to him, and he's doing the only thing he's ever known how to do. And
Bluster and lie.
yeah, bluster and lie and
and
go
bully.
to he, unlike our dad, he doesn't understand that the best deal is the deal that both parties leave feeling good.
Well, actually, that's a little wrong. Both parties leave feeling a little bad. It means that each side had to give things up, but nobody walks away the winner. And what he used to say, what Dad always used to say, is, you always leave something on the table for the other guy. You want them to come back. You want them to enjoy doing business with you. You want them to feel as if a good deal has been had by all. You do that, you might cut your margins, but you'll do a whole lot better business
in the long run.
And you'll,
yeah,
in the long run,
Trump can't ever
be able
see.
To,
yeah,
right.
And Dad wasn't a bully. I mean, who had to.
And you retire with a really fine reputation, as our father did.
You don't have to beat somebody into but that's not where Trump is. He well, we know. Anyway, I wanted to
but let me just say something. If you bring up Dad, there's just an essential difference. And the difference is that Dad wasn't greedy.
Well, that's true too.
I mean, he really wasn't greedy. When we say that, one of his college closest friends was Jay Pritzker, he understood what real money was, and he had the opportunity to go with his friends and become a big fish in a big pond. He didn't want that. He absolutely didn't want. And if you're not driven by greed, but rather joy and sort of in the real art of the deal, it's like Dad is the real Trump.
Ugh,
if you know what I mean.
I do, but don't even say that. I do know what you mean.
No, but I'm saying Dad enjoyed the art of the deal more than, any incredible profit. And he turned away deals. I can remember saying, no, Dad, you have to, if you can invest in that. It was like the first diaper compactor that, if he had invested in that, he would have had a lot. He didn't care. He said, I don't know about that. I don't want to invest in that.
Well, yeah.
But I'm just saying what your motivation is huge, and Trump's is just greed.
Greed and power. He's a stunted soul. He's just totally stunted.
Well, he equates money to power.
He's also mentally ill. Can we acknowledge that?
Sure.
He has so many literal mental health deficits and issues. He is he has no human feeling, no empathy. I don't know what he's like. He's a
pathological liar.
He's a pathological liar. He's a narcissist. He's got all of these things which are so out in the open, and that anyone could look at that mess of a man and see a leader.
Well, they clearly do not see what we see.
Yeah, they do.
That's the fact that he could pull such a stunt to convince such a diverse group of people. The only thing that I feel like they have in common is they all have a tendency to be cultists anyway, like the fervor of religious groups, which is who he attracts. evangelical Christians, Orthodox Jews, Hasidic Jews. I mean, they're cultists to begin with.
Yeah.
If they're told that this is the guy, well, then they're in.
Yeah. So Trump has declared victory. Essentially, what he says China blinked. Not true. He blinked. He blinked. In every of these cases, he's blinked. You know where else he blinked, and it's not getting a lot of attention, but I want to give it a little bit. And remember the Signal Gate thing? Remember Hegseth and those guys very excitedly talking about bombing the hell out of some guy, Houthi? Well, as you know, I'm sure the Trump decided that he was going to put an end to these Houthis in Yemen, who were making shipping difficult, to say the least, in the Red Sea by bombing or threatening ships, navigation, our ships, other countries' ships, blah, blah, blah. They were doing a lot of trouble. He was going to stop it. And that's what Hegseth was so excited about. They were going after these guys. They were going to take them down. They lasted 31 days. They spent over $1 billion. They lost two $67 million aircraft. The Houthis shot down 7 of our drones, which cost about $30 million each. And finally, Trump is begging them, look, just say you won't bomb our ships and I'll stop. And the Houthi,
I mean, he's so bad at
it's
not
bad.
Funny. He's so bad at everything he does.
He's so bad at it. And so he's okay. So he called it off. He stopped. He declared victory and pulled all of that and wasted all of that money and material and manpower. And the Houthis, they posted on social media, Yemen defeats America.
Yeah.
They did. There is no one looking at that little month-long nonsense that wouldn't say, well, Yemen won. Yemen won. And none of this is getting through to, he just one loss after another. God. All right.
Well, and because nobody's paying attention, because they're also freaked out about whether they'll be able to afford, going out to dinner tomorrow, or whether they'll have to take their kid out of college tomorrow, or whether the college will even exist tomorrow. Your worries, depending on where you fall, still basically all go to, he not only broke our country, but he also has destabilized a huge majority of this country's financial security and well-being.
Yes.
I mean, a huge chunk is just automatically changing their lives.
Well, I'll tell you, so much winning, it's hard to know. So here's the thing.
It's hard. It's right.
Here's the thing. Now I want to go after media. I want to share 2 headlines, one from the New York Times, one from the Washington Post today. And both have to do with the new Air Force One that the Qataris have said they'd like.
Such a good idea. I mean, it could have a little switch that blew it up for all we knew. I would love that, but
I know no security issues here at all to have the Qataris essentially put together the jet carrying the president.
Here, little boy, let us give you a great big airplane.
Okay, so here's a headline. And because he's on his way now to
He's
Qatar
there.
and
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia, and he's not, and they'll spin this as if he's going as the president, but he's
No, he's
going.
making business deals.
Yeah, he's going as Donald Trump of Trump. Grifters Incorporated. This is a
Right.
business trip. And
A personal business trip.
it's a personal business trip. There is no doubt about that. So, I mean, here the reality is that what is it? May 13th, May 1st. Do people even know this? I mean, he cut a deal with the Qataris with a Qatari company to put together all kinds of development and real estate deals. It was a huge deal. That was May 1st. Big deal. And then the Qataris come back less than 10 days later and say, hey, would you like this jet? And he loves the jet, sees no problem there at all. By the way, his attorney general, Pam Bondi, doesn't see any problem with that at all. No constitutional issues.
Not Pam.
No, and in fact, she, it turns out, was in the pay of the Qataris herself.
She made $150,000 a week or something.
A month. I think it was $125,000 a month. She was paid by the Qataris. These two effing thieves. So he's going over there anyway on a business trip, no doubt about it. And here's the headline. I think this was in the Post. Trump's trip marked by potential private business conflict. What? I mean, come on. I mean, I want to strangle whoever allowed that.
Well, it's why I've stopped. I mean, I have such a hard time reading the newspaper. If you do read it frequently, you find that it's the headline writers that are totally not representing what's in the article. What's in the article is all the conflict. And then they put the headline on because they are trying to squeak, the actual news past, the censors.
But we know this is dangerous because we know now so many people only read headlines because they can't tolerate anything else. So they're not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. So that was the Washington Post. Here's the New York Times, which angered me even more. Trump's plan to accept luxury jet from Qatar strains bounds of propriety.
And wasn't there one that said it might actually
be
awaken corruption, inquiries? There was one too.
Strains bounds of propriety. Fuck propriety. We're talking about an unconstitutionality. We're talking about a high crime and misdemeanor. We're talking about Article 1 and emoluments and accepting gifts from a king.
That's all Lynn, you're so quaint.
Jesus H. So anyway, here's the best headline. Well, the best one I saw on this subject, The Atlantic. There's no such thing as a free plane. Isn't that it?
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a free plane.
Well, that's like the television critic that spent 18 hours watching MSNBC to see if they ever had a real debate. And he said you can sum up NBC with 5 words. I could not agree with you more.
Yeah. It's just, everybody talking to agreeing with each other.
Yeah, agreeing with each other.
Right. So,
and even though I agree with them, I just, it would be nice to feel like you were watching some actual, information.
I just want to tell the caller I was just about to have you in, and now I don't see how to get you in, so you might want to hang up and call back. I don't understand what happened. Or maybe you did hang up. I just wanted to say
They'll call back.
all of a sudden it's only saying I could call the caller back. Well, I ain't going to do it, but you could call back. Yeah, uneffin believable. So, I see that somebody wants to said that I haven't talked about the mayor. Susan, we have a mayor's race going on, and I did mention it because I've already voted. I vote, you know, absentee.
Your first possible opportunity.
Yeah, yeah, and I punted, which is something I I can't remember the last time I did. I did a write-in because I don't want either of them, and that's such an awful feeling. Um, the incumbent mayor is, I think, a good guy, but I think he's a bad administrator. I like what he's trying to do, and the guy who's going to win is a nice guy, but he's in the pockets of the developers who I hate. So I don't want it. He's in the hands of the establishment, the people who think they're supposed to run the city, who know they're supposed to run the city, and who don't give a shit about the people in the city who are not like them. In other words, the poor, beleaguered taxpayers, the poorer people. So, one candidate is for the rich, whether he realizes it or not, because that's who's funding him. And the other is for the poor, but he's not very good at getting anything done because, it's hard to do that when you're representing the powerless. And I don't think he's a great administrator. So that's all I'm saying. I punted. Sorry, I know it's unsatisfactory. Hey, did you see what Harvard did to the letter that Linda McMahon sent them? Linda McMahon is the Secretary of Education.
Right. The
Uh-huh.
education department that they're shutting down,
Yeah.
except that they're using it to,
Also, listen,
torture people.
yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
So, including Harvard. So she sent Harvard this 3-page letter. It's this screed um, of, the usual attacks about what they're up to, the nefarious indoctrination, some of which I agree about. That's what's happened to the academy, the politicization of the academy. But what they did is, I don't think he sent it back, but he corrected it like a teacher correcting a paper, or someone did. It is
Yeah.
a riot. It is marked up all over the place with, taking, certain, the content a little having fuzzy, and then also, grammar mistakes and, punctuation, and it's a riot. But
Of course, it's just the sort of thing that'll rile them up. Elitist people, grammar.
yeah. Oh, Pat is reminding me of something that was uppermost in my mind, and I didn't get around to it. I've been wanting to talk about this actually since last week. Uh, Susan, are you aware there is a genocide going on right now? No. Well, according to Trump,
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out.
where would
Is
Trump
it?
say there's a genocide?
Yes, it's white South Africa.
That is correct. He has actually yesterday said that these beleaguered refugees that we took in yesterday from South Africa
And put on a fast track to citizenship.
were these, according to the president's words exactly, are victims of genocide. Well, I gotta say, the racism here is so mind-boggling. When you think of all of the people around the world, true refugees, who have been struggling, risking their lives, maybe getting to a refugee camp somewhere, who've then done all the proper paperwork, who have struggled and struggled for years to jump through the hoops that America insists upon to get here for a chance, years and years. They have all been told, you ain't getting in. Even if we had said you are getting in and you just had one more hoop to get through, you're not getting in. You folks in Sudan, you Rohingya, you guys in the Congo, whatever. You're just you Afghanis who actually risked your lives to help us when we were fighting in your country. All of those people have had the doors slammed in their face, and these white friggin' Afrikaners have been let in. Stephen Miller quoted as this: "This is persecution based on race." What persecution? Anyway.
Well, he didn't define what this was either. So perhaps he's correct.
Yeah.
Perhaps it's their actions.
Uneffin believable. And I want to point out, and God bless them, the Episcopal Church, the Episcopal specifically, the Episcopal migration ministries or missionaries or something, migration ministries. That is the Episcopal group, like there's Catholic groups, there's Jewish groups who get grants from the federal government and helped to, I'm sure we all know this, help these refugees when they do come to this country. Not that any are coming anymore. We got nothing. They got nothing to do. And Episcopal Migration Ministries put out this note. Just over 2 weeks ago, the federal government informed us that under the terms of our grant, we are expected to resettle white Afrikaners whom the U.S. government has classified as refugees. Oh, this is coming from the bishop of the church, Sean Rowe. And he says, in light of our church's steadfast commitment to racial justice and reconciliation and our historic ties with the Anglican Church of South Africa, we are not able to comply. So they have, I guess, severed, they said, we won't do it.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Catholics, Jews, organizations, where are you? Because you should do the same. The Episcopalians stood up and called this what it was and said they would not be party to it. And I applaud them.
Well, I think there's a lot of folks standing up. I think we just aren't hearing about it in an organized way, and there's reasons for that too. You know, they aren't publicizing how much resistance they're getting.
Well, yeah, I guess maybe. I don't know. I am
Well, it's
dispirited. I am
it's
dispirited.
well, hard not to be.
Yeah, indeed. Um, hey, this passed a lot of people's attention, and I wanted to get it in as well, if I could just find it here. This is, I think, from at least a week ago, and it was a hearing, some Senate hearing, and uh, Senator Chris Murphy of Connecticut, who's, speaking of somebody who's been out front, just constantly uh, taking this administration to task. He had the head of Homeland Security. Anybody remember who that was? I'll just say, shot her puppy in the head.
Christy
That's
Gnome.
right. Then got Botox to beat the band so she'd look good for Trump because she was trying to be his vice presidential choice. So she doesn't look quite like she did when she shot her puppy in the head, but that one, yes. Christy Nome, now head of the security of our country. So she was in front of Chris Murphy. I just want to read some of what he said to her because this was all new to me. Your department is out of control. You are spending like you don't have a budget. You are on the verge of running out of money for the fiscal year. You are on track to trigger the Anti-Deficiency Act, which means you are going to spend more money than we, the Congress, have allocated you. This is a rare occurrence, and it is wildly illegal. Your agency will be broke by July. She had nothing to say to that. And I'm assuming that what he's saying is true, right?
Oh yeah.
And then he says, and where all this money you're spending, you have taken this money from other places and have left the country unprotected. To fund the border, you have illegally gutted spending for cybersecurity. And as we speak, Russian and Chinese hackers are having a field day attacking us. You have withdrawn funds for disaster prevention, and storms are going to kill more people in this country because of your illegal withholding of these funds. And on and on and on he went. Again, just another example of the destruction being wrought by these horrific humans. Our caller has called back. Let's get him in here. Hello.
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 Hello. Hey, I can't wait to when these people that are working for Trump, they think they can just go along and do what they're doing. Nothing's going to happen to them. Because if you see the last time when he got out, the people went to jail and prison. I look for he may never spend any prison time. That's probably for sure. But the people that are going along with a lot of this stuff and stepping out of bounds, they're going to have to watch out. Like this Blondie character.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. There's going to be. I think they think, well, he's in there. He'll just take care of me. Well, you're not going to live forever. He might not survive the 4 years he's in now. So, who knows?
I feel the same way. I comfort myself by having fantasies about Nuremberg trial sorts of things where they're all lined up and sentenced.
No, like Susan, Susan said, I think it was last week or the week before. Yeah, they're bloody fantasies. She sees all these people that you just want to put in jail. She sees them lined up and getting their brains blown out by firing squad.
Yeah.
She wants to kill them.
I'm trying to comfort myself.
Hanging. Public hanging would be good too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be all right. Just like that one guy said, he'd like to see. That one comedian said he wanted to see Musk suspended. And he meant by, by his
Right. Suspended.
Yep.
I want to remind both of you of Pope Leo's words about, yes, angry words and destructive words.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I shut you both up for a second. A second.
This is, I'm not. I'm just comforting myself with the Old Testament's God's,
He was a mad God.
retribution.
Yeah, the Old Testament God would kill him in a second. Jesus maybe not so fast, but yeah. Okay. Hey, thanks for the call. My sister and you are
Okay. Thank you.
bloodthirsty
Thanks.
buddies. Yeah. Jeez. God almighty. Okay, so Susan, I just want you to warn or elucidate? No, that's not the word I'm looking for. Anyway, eradicate? No, although that's what you're
What are you
into.
trying to say?
I want you to embellish.
Talk
That's
about?
not it either. Yes, that'd be good. Talk about. Pittsburgh is totally off subject. Pittsburgh is going to host the National Football
NFL draft.
The NFL draft in a year. And Susan lives half the time in Green Bay, where that just finished hosting the NFL draft this year. So she's very aware of what happens to a city when the NFL draft comes to town. What we are starting to see, Susan, this is a year away. And already there was a big story I saw today about they've built this countdown clock outside of one of the outside of the stadium, counting down the days, like we're waiting here with bated breath.
Well, you are apparently.
Oh well, no, we aren't. It's again those people who run.
It's the hypers. I can't explain it, Lynn. I did not get near any of it. Mother and I hunkered down in the house.
Yeah,
we lived through it. I had to bring a car in to have brake pads put in.
Yeah.
And service with ordinarily this nice little station would have taken me home.
Yeah,
but
they couldn't take you home. Why?
Because there were so many streets closed throughout Green Bay for the draft that there was no route, that they just suspended it. They said, you get yourself an Uber or a ride. We can't do it this week.
Well, how was the Uber supposed to take you if they couldn't? What are they going to do?
I found
fly
myself
you?
a ride.
Okay.
I found myself a human being. And,
okay. So here's the thing, though. Because Green Bay is a much smaller town, and it was a bigger. I mean,
we had to build hotels.
They were building hotels. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but Pittsburgh worries about whether or not they have enough hotels. So tell them how a lot of people in town made money.
Well, that was what I was going to tell you, because in the run up to this, there were, everyone and their uncle registered to be an Airbnb, and we're charging, for a little background, a hotel room in Green Bay, even in a luxury hotel on a typical March 15th day, for example, would be about $147 a night. On a Packer weekend.
Yeah, that goes up too.
Well, depending on what kind of a facility is. If it's a Motel 8, it's $800 a night.
Jeez.
If it's the luxury place, it's $1,200 a night.
Jeez.
Oh no, that's happened to me when I had.
Okay.
I'm quoting actual numbers.
Yeah. So people?
These places people overestimated what people were willing to pay and forgot that there were towns surrounding. You could stay in Appleton. You could stay in Milwaukee and drive in every day. It's an hour and a half away. You could drive in every day and stay in Milwaukee. So a lot of places did not fill up the way, it's going back to my earlier theme, greed. They asked too much and no one showed up. They went elsewhere, so I mean, for those, if you're going to offer yourself up, do the proper thing. Look at what the hotels are going to charge, and price yourself right smack in the middle. You'll make a lot of money, and
But I thought,
you'll
Susan,
get a
wait a minute.
renter.
I thought the NFL was, the NFL, don't they have something to say about, they didn't sign off on certain places, or you didn't have to like jump through
No, what
there?
the NFL controlled was the beer. That's what they controlled. That was their issue in Wisconsin, because Bud Light is a big sponsor, Anheuser-Busch, or whatever the Belgian company that owns it now is. And they weren't, and Wisconsin has, Green Bay has a microbrewery on every corner. Used to be a bar, now it's a microbrewery. And they weren't allowed to sell their wares anywhere within the area designated the draft area.
What? That is
Yeah.
outrageous.
So that included breweries that were within that, that are in a part of town called Titletown, and there's a brewery there, and a rather good one. And they could only sell their own beer within their walls, but half their space is outside, and they could not sell anything outside. So, that's how they controlled that, and they choose who to, highlight and not. One of my favorite people in town, McKim Boyd, who owns and is the maitre d' at the Union Hotel.
Yeah.
Got a shout out at the end of the thing on national TV in the thank yous. And at the very end, she said, "And how could I not thank McKim?"
Oh, wow.
What a guy.
This is a guy we adore. That's so sweet. So listen.
Well, we adore him because he's adorable. He knows everybody's name. He's got a good story on point, with historical references. He's known everybody, and he's just charming and does a good job at his hotel.
Like his father before him.
Well, yes.
Okay, so I have to report something. Jonathan, thank you. I hate being the purveyor of false information. And you know what? It's something that's going to happen more and more and more.
That marked up letter was a joke. It didn't really go out.
Thank you. It was too good to be true.
Yeah, I didn't want to.
Yeah, I have to admit, but I hadn't seen. Okay. Yeah.
I'm sure they did do that, but they didn't send it.
No, they didn't. It was a guy who did. He has confirmed Snopes. He confirmed to Snopes via email that some guy on X, had added the corrections. And it says here, this so-called corrected version of her letter did not appear on Harvard's social media site. So the claim is false. Thank you. Oh, really?
Well, file that under wish it were true.
Yeah.
But this is when I was calling all of my MAGA nieces and nephews on false information that they were constantly putting up, and that was what, in one particularly ugly exchange, one such young relative responded by saying, "Well, I wish it were true."
Oh God. I am so glad that I don't have correspondence with any MAGA folk that I know of. You know what I mean? If they are.
Yeah, well, I can't avoid them. Some of them are,
Yeah, but when they're
good family friends.
I don't even know how I don't know. If and when you're the one. So would you line them up and shoot them, Susan? At what point?
No.
Well,
no.
then.
Well, they aren't committing treason in the way that the people in Washington D.C. are.
Well, but they put those people there.
Yeah, they did. I'm very angry at them. You know that. Then there's a whole bunches of them that I don't talk to, but others of them I can't throw out because they're mother's friends.
Okay. So we got
I
what?
learned one of them is taking ivermectin in this visit, and I almost had a cow.
Ivermectin? For
You
what?
know, with that COVID cure, the horse tranquilizer
Yeah,
or
for what?
dewormer.
For what?
I don't know. Parasites?
Why would they have parasites?
I don't know. I just looked at the person, I glared at them, and I said, "Stop trying to kill yourself."
Oh, I'm so anyway.
I mean, what do you say when someone's doing that? Because if you don't say anything, I feel like, I'm participating in.
Well, I tend to be impolite. It's one of the few times that well, I do. I just can't. I'd say like, what the hell? I just can't help
No,
it.
I'm laughing because I consider that an understatement.
Oh, okay. But I mean, I don't usually go out of my way to confront people. I don't like it.
I don't either.
But
But
I
in this
can't.
instance, I felt like I had a duty to say something.
God, jeez. So anyway, I came. Laura
That
writes.
said, you were discussing taking blues medication earlier.
Well, that's true, but that makes more sense.
Yes, it does.
I once.
It's not a horse tranquilizer; it's a dog tranquilizer.
I once had a cat who stopped eating and was given Valium.
Yeah, well, I take that. Yeah.
And I don't think she'd mind me telling the story because it's too funny. Sally Wiggin, for those of you who don't know, was a television anchor woman here, called me up, and she had a date. And she said, "I've got a date." This is a long time ago. "I'm a nervous wreck. Can I have some of Smudge's Valium?" And I said, "No problem. I'm sure Smudge won't miss it." So Sally took Smudge's Valium. I can't remember how the date went. Oh, and somebody's asking me yesterday's Barbara, one of our listeners, who's usually a reliable source of information, sent me a video of a robot attacking two workers, or attempting to, in some manufacturing plant. The robot was, tethered to a crane, but all of a sudden it started like trying to swiping at these two guys. And someone on chat is saying, was that video real? Because that was another one that seemed a little odd. If anyone can ferret that out, that'd be good, because that was all that I saw were screenshots taken by a CCTV camera in this factory, and those two guys were scared.
Well, sure they were. But
Yeah,
the only way that can happen is if it's programmed to do that.
Well,
it's
like it turned on them. It like it was attacking them.
Yeah, I understand.
Yes, but what? I mean, what? So,
well,
and
maybe
after
somebody
I
in the control
mentioned it,
tower was mad at them. I'm just
well, I don't know. After I said that, somebody on chat immediately said, "Oh, please don't talk about viral videos." And I felt chastened by that, because I thought, oh, I'm probably saying something that's not true, right? Why
right.
would they have said that? That was my assumption. But so for the person who sent me that, let's make sure that anything you're sending me is legit. And I don't know. The jury's still out on that. Oh, somebody's telling me Bill Maher showed the video on Friday night. Well, that doesn't tell us whether it's true or not, but that shows it's been around. I don't know. It was scary. Okay, well, I was going to get to this other thing, but now our time is up.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. Somebody, Susan said, "Amen, Susan." That's from Margaret. I don't know exactly when that came in, but I'm assuming it was when you were going to kill a bunch of people.
Can I get an amen?
Yeah, I think so. That was my bet. Okay, well, my poor dog has been sleeping for a long time.
Good.
Now. Isn't that sweet?
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Keep him nice and drugged until, it's got a chance to heal.
Okay, that'll be
It'll be better for both of you.
One for him and one for me. That's the way we're going to get through the day. Okay.
All right. Good
Thanks,
luck, you
Suze.
two.
Yeah, thank you. All right, Suze.
Bye.
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 Bye. And guys, I'll be back tomorrow, although tomorrow is going to be really problematic because not only will I still have the injured animal who will be waiting at the door, and she ain't going to come tomorrow either, but also guys are coming to install a new furnace, which will definitely set the dog off. I don't know what the hell to do. I'm going to be a wreck tomorrow too, and then things will return to normal when I'm just my normal wreck edge, I guess.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Thursday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper or its advertisers.